Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Grow Your Path to Wellness. Another recap for our week last week. We hosted Dr. Leslie Cook. We had the pleasure of talking all things neurodevelopmental, but we kind of honed in on ADHD in particularly and kiddos, and talking about some misconceptions and how that can present or manifest for people of color long-term throughout their life. So make sure if you missed that to go back and catch that one. You definitely don't want to miss it. This week, we have another installment of our Mandown mental health, men's mental health series. So we have Tommy back with us, and then he brought along with him a new guest, Linbell Lewis. So welcome, Linbell. We're very happy to have you with us.
Hi, it's nice to be with you.
Yes, I'm so glad that we're back in this discussion. It's like awesome when we have the three of us, but then we add a whole nother person and it's like more community. And I just love being back in these conversations. And Linbell, it's good to see you on the internet. Obviously, I see you in other ways, but it's good to see you here today. So I'm just going to pass the torch over to Tommy because this is his show. Is there anything you want to specifically talk about today? And then obviously, we can let Linbell introduce himself.
So, what I was hoping to kind of go after today is a little bit of a continuation, like we did the last episode. Really the free-flowing conversation seemed to be received very well by the people who are watching the show. And we got really good feedback from the last time when Rico was with us. And I wanted to kind of continue that conversation. We actually had a lot of good talks last night when we mentioned in the last Mandown men's mental health series that I was looking to try to get the men together, do what we were going to call a King's Weekend. We weren't able to put it together full flight with COVID and a lot of the restrictions, and people are just busy. But a few of us were able to get out yesterday and spend the day together for some time. Mr. Linbell Lewis as one of them. And we had a lot of good discussions, a lot of good therapy. It was really good to be around each other, building and stacking on that community we already have. So, it's kind of the light I was hoping to go with today's talk. But really what I want to do, the biggest thing I want to do is I want to get Linbell into the fold. One of the goals of this is to get different perspectives and understand different people, for this series, different men from different backgrounds and some of the stuff they go through and who they are, what they've come through, and anything else you might want to share. So I'm going to pass the torch, Belle, and let you kind of introduce yourself and tell us about you. Tell us about your experience with your mental health and just kind of being a man in today's society, and then kind of go wherever you want to go, and we'll just have a conversation.
All right. Well, my name is Linbell Lewis III. I grew up in Brook Park, Ohio. I have 3 older sisters. I'm the youngest of 4. We kind of had like a from the outside looking in, we had like a Brady Bunch family. So that's one way just to describe that. I'm currently a high-rise window cleaner. I've done some foundry work and some other stuff, but I hate being inside, so I like being kind of wild. So I dig that a little bit. It's going on it's just over a decade of jumping off everything downtown and a little bit in St. Louis as well. I have 2 sons. One's my size, and he's about to be 13, and the other one's 2.5. I call him a gremlin. He's more like a Sour Patch Kid. He'll kick you in the shin, and then he'll bring you some candy or something. So you can't help but kiss his little head and swear under your breath. But I have a fiance as well. She's very patient with me, so I appreciate her. Let's see. Besides football, I play softball. That's it. A little bit of bowling here and there, and I throw some darts every now and then. Just try to do whatever's fun or whatever's competitive. Yeah, just try to have fun as much as possible.
Is the window any connection to Rico? I was like, listen, the odds, guys.
Yeah, we worked with a few different companies together. Yeah.
Okay. No, you were like, I like to be outside, and I'm like, I do too, but I'm not. I'm not all that good for you. No, but I had to ask. I was like, is that a, knowing one another?
I was literally just gonna pop in and say, Kelsi, by the way, like that's and the SpiderMan stuff, like they did that together. So
Yeah.
Belle, you did that in St. Louis too, didn't you?
Yes. In St. Louis at the Children's Hospital there, we dressed up like Spider-Man. And we also do all the superheroes at Akron's Children's Hospital. So it's been fun.
I love that.
That's super awesome.
The adults have more fun than the kids, I swear.
hey, we are all about honoring your inner child. So
Right.
I'm here for it.
Just small little story about that Spider-Man costume. I remember there was a couple individuals that was at a Halloween party, and they decided to wear that costume to the Halloween party, and there was 3 of them. And when I walked in the door, they made me figure out which one was which without seeing them, because they're all about the same height and all the same costume on. The only one I was able to pick out was nephew because his dreads were hanging out. But yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, and I didn't really know all you guys back then, but I remember walking into the same Halloween party, and I was like, "There's 3 Spider-Men here. That's interesting." Okay.
Yeah, I had a bunch of costumes, so we decided to try to psych some people out.
Linbell, can you tell us what it was like to grow up with being the youngest and the only male sibling with 3 older sisters?
All right, so everyone's like, "Oh, you must get spoiled." Nah, it wasn't that way at all. There's a big age gap between pretty much me and my older sister. We're 12 years apart or 13 years apart, and then the one below her is, let's see, at least it's like 50, 51. Sandia is 48, 49. And then Shannon, she's 39, I believe, and I'll be 38 this year. So there's a little bit of gap in there, a decade and then some. It was kind of break something, blame it on him. That's that was my that was the older sisters. When they break something, I was always the scapegoat. The sister that's closest to me, Shannon, she was like a brother to me. She played football, she played baseball. Like, she didn't want to play softball, but she had to. But she played everything. So she was the closest thing I had to a brother. She's in the Army now, and she actually is about to retire. She's an animal. I love her. And I watched her just beat people up on the football field, and no one knew she was a girl until she took her helmet off. So it was always a good feeling. Like, yeah, my sister is bad. And I used to make my friends race her before they raced me. And like, if you can't beat Shannon, then you can't beat me. So it was fun growing up with Shannon. I can't really. There was really nothing bad about it, really. My sisters were all really nice to me, and I was nice to them for the most part, I think. As nice as I could be when they weren't messing with me. There was a few times when I did break some of my sister's stuff because they got me in trouble. I climbed up on the dresser, I dumped out their perfume. I was walking around smelling like white diamonds. I remember the name of it. And, I ate my sister's lipstick too. It was right after Valentine's Day.
He definitely remembers that, because like you would not know that if you didn't remember it.
I walked around smelling like white diamonds for weeks. we still talk about it. We still talk about that to this day. They were really upset with me. But they kept on breaking stuff. I kept getting stuff.
Do you think that being in a house with that many females had any like differing, sorry, I'm having a hard time wording right now, like any impact on your like emotional development or any, and specifically with mental health? Like, do you feel like that if there were more men in the house, it might have been different. Or, and I'm just guessing. I'm just throwing things out there. Like, do you feel like that impacted you differently?
Oh, I definitely do. I know, I grew up with a couple families that had 3 or 4 boys or 5 boys, and just the black eyes and the broken noses and the crazy stories you hear about fighting and stuff. Like, we didn't fight because it just wasn't allowed. We like yell at each other, and then that was it. It made me a gentleman to a certain extent. Opening doors, go and get a car when it's raining and stuff like that. But it also made me it made me view women in a way that, like, I see and I hear my sisters talking, so I know, like, everything that they say is like, oh, is that how all women think? So it was kind of like maybe I should listen to some of these conversations. They might be dropping some knowledge unintentionally.
Yeah, like I got exposure early on to, those types of interactions and what those relationships look like.
Yeah, it was definitely a good learning phase early on in life. That's for sure.
So when
My
you
sister,
being a younger, being a brother, but being the only brother and the youngest, do you still, how were you raised? I'm curious, like your mom and your dad, like, did you still end up adapting a bit of a protective nature being the youngest, or was that different because you were the youngest?
no, I'm still the protector, even to this day. Like, if there's ever a problem, if they ever need anything, I'll get a phone call from Lisa or Sandy, the oldest ones. Shannon, she's good. She's, Uncle Sam takes care of her, so she never really calls. She calls to check up on me more than anything. But yeah, if the other two, they ever need help or anything, I try to be there on the spot. It's kind of always been like that. Just, I don't know. It's just it's almost like the serve and protect part of the law enforcement. You know what I mean? Just, you always got to look out for anyone that needs help, and now that goes for everybody now, though. And I learned that at a young age. It's just, if you need help, then I'll help you. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter if you can, like, reciprocate. None of that matters. Just, if you need it, then I got you. And if I can't, then I'll try to figure out a way to help you out at least. And yeah, that's definitely from my dad, though. He talking about him is funny because now we're really good friends. At first we weren't. Like, well, he may see it differently, but it was, now that I'm old, like, I can see that he worked, extremely hard to support all 4 of us and 5 of us, including my mom. So I look at it differently now. I find myself working side jobs, extra work, trying to do a little bit here, a little bit there, just to take care of everything. And it's definitely something that was instilled. I don't know if I don't want to say subliminally, or subliminally, but just watching him work all the time and helping him around outside and fixing cars, working on the house, just doing everything. And that's what I do now. I'm constantly just trying to check up on people and trying to help people as much as possible. And yeah, I definitely got that from my dad and my sister Shannon, because she's a tough girl. The other 2 are tough too, don't get me wrong, but
yeah, be careful, man. It's going out on the internet. Everybody gonna see it.
You said that you see, like, the relationship different now and you understand now because you're older. But when you were younger, what was it, just like he wasn't as, like, physically and emotionally present because he was always taking care of all those other things, maybe, and so that was hard? Or I don't want to assume, but
right. No, that is what it was. I mean, he was working. He had 2 jobs. He was a fireman, You know, he was a paramedic as well. He was a lieutenant of fire inspection. He was working at the IX Center. And, you know, he was a busy man. He'd come to my football games and he'd record them and just like kind of hand me the tape. Like, we never really talked about anything. Never really talked much until the later years. You know, it was kind of tough, and I was angry for a while, but it was probably when my oldest son was born. Then we started to really get along, started to hang out more, started to do a lot more together like we used to, and ever since then, it's just he's like my right hand man. I try to keep in touch with him all the time. He travels a lot, so I'm always worried about him, and I'm always trying to take care of stuff and just try to make his life a little easier. He's retired now, so he's having fun, but I'm still, you know, I'm still trying to chase him around and make sure he's all right and everything. So yeah, everything changed though. Probably when I was 25, it's about 13 years ago. Yeah, it's just everything changed for the better, we'll say. I wouldn't say we weren't friends, but we didn't really talk too much. We didn't. It's like we had a lot in common, but just really didn't. We didn't really just sit there and just bond together. Really, I don't really know why. And then once I started playing sports and having my friends and stuff, I was always on the go. So I can't exactly just be like, oh, it's all his fault. So you know, it was just a weird time. But my mom, she was always there. She was always made food for everybody. Even if you bring friends home, she was like, "Oh yeah, I got extra food. Don't worry." She'd always make enough to feed an army. Always.
So going, you know, all the stuff with you being the youngest and, you know, kind of the playing the protector role and stuff, how are you handling taking care of yourself, man? What's your mechanisms like? But, you know, how do you make sure you keep yourself tight and keep yourself, you know, strong mentally? Because, you know, I know we have conversations, so I'm not going to just dive into stuff we've talked about on the side. I'll let you go ahead and open whatever doors you want. But, you know, I think it's important that's, you know, to share your side of that. How do you take care of you?
That's an interesting question there, Gunner, because the half of the time I don't take care of myself the way I should. I'm, you know, it's just running on empty. I remember watching Amanda with the two cups last time, saying make sure you got yours filled up all the way, and then you can worry about that other cup. But my cup usually has a couple drops in it because I'm usually like trying to like reach in there with the finger, get a drop, and spread it around so I can, you know, just try to help it. It drives me crazy. Like the anxiety is just insane. I'm just wanting to help as much as possible, and you just run yourself just ragged. It's tough. I don't. I think just the gratitude is what motivates me. It's just the only thing that, because there's no reason to really go out of your way and help people, but you know, you do it because you're supposed to. So I don't know. You just keep on going, man.
It's like
my
that.
mom.
Oh.
That's how my mom was. She always, she was like, oh, you know, someone on our block would need help, so I go help them. And I come back, and she's like, oh, you want to go on the other side of the block and help this person? Like, yeah, I'll go over there. So, and it's always been like that. And yeah, she's when she passed, it was rough, man. And then you talk about taking care of yourself. I was in a bad place then. I mean, I was drinking heavily every day, and it wasn't helping. It wasn't getting any better. You know, it's hard losing a parent, but you know, you got to keep on going. You just can't let your life shut down. But yeah, it's still I still fight with it every day though.
Yeah, but I'm very sorry. Very sorry.
I appreciate that.
Do you mind like how long
She passed in September of 2019. Yeah, she was battling cancer for a while. She did good for years, and then I don't know. It just it was kind of all of a sudden, But we can't say we weren't expecting it, but we just weren't expecting it like that,
I heard you mention anxiety. That anxiety can be unbearable sometimes. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
It's it's beyond like picking at your fingers or or pulling your hair or doing anything like that. It's like I don't even want to look at the phone because I already know that there's messages I have to check and there's someone needs help or there's something that I have to do or something like that. It's like your heart races. You kind of just want to sit there and stare at the wall, just not even be bothered, and it sucks because, the whole time I feel selfish and it's like, man, I should go do this. I should go do this. I should go do this, but I'm tired. But they need help or someone wants me to go do something. It's like, oh, I don't want to, but fine, I'll do it. And it's like, it's like that with everything though, with like with sports and, family and friends and stuff like that. It's like overwhelming sometimes. You never want to say no, you never want to be like, nah, I'm not going to come over, or I'm not going to do this, or I'm not going to do that. But saying yes all the time, that's that's what gets you in trouble. And
feels unnatural to say no, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then when you say no, then people are like, what do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, no. Like, I'm not going. I'm not coming this time. Like, it's tough. Really,
I'm sorry. There's some delay. I didn't mean to cut you off, brother.
Oh no, you're fine. I was gonna say, really, the anxiety started when my son moved from up here. Well, he was born down kind of by Columbus, and then they just stayed there. So I've been driving back and forth for 12 years. And even when I was in St. Louis, I drove back and forth every weekend. I picked him up from daycare every single Friday. And I drove 66,000 miles in a year, driving back and forth, picking him up, coming up here to see my parents, taking him back down by Columbus, and then going back to St. Louis. And I did that all throughout 2013. And I actually ended up in the hospital with a blood clot just from all that driving and stuff. I was literally just jumping out of the car, getting gas, jumping back in the car, not stretching. I wasn't drinking water or anything. I was just trying to get there. I didn't want to have to go to the bathroom. So I would just literally do all the payroll, do all the paperwork, mail it off, and then I'd be hauling it 560 miles to get up here. And then Sunday, I'd turn around and I'd drop him off on the way back down to St. Louis. I did that for a year straight. And after that, I just moved back. I couldn't do it anymore. And that was pretty much when the anxiety started like a long time ago. And it's just been rough. But, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe dealing with it though. It's just knowing you have something to do and people to provide for, you just have to keep going. And I guess that's just the motivation right there.
Yeah, there's like this constant. I don't know if I'm echoing. Am I echoing? You guys hear me? Okay.
No, you're good.
That's just one of the constant things that, it's been a target of my focus for a while now, is that understanding that volume, right? That whole, like you said, where, you just don't want to do anything. You just want to sit and stare at the wall. You literally just want to sit and stare at the wall and not have that burden or that feeling of, I got to do X, Y, and Z. And there's just no easy way to shake it, because when you sit at that wall, you think you're taking care of yourself, but at the same time, and I'm not trying to speak for you, I'm speaking for me here, but maybe you agree, where you're spinning in your head that, hey, I'm not doing enough, or I'm not doing something for someone, or I'm not taking care of something. I can't just sit here, but all I want to do, and all the universe around me is telling me to do, is sit down. But the society around me, and all the things that I feel as a man and as a protector and as a provider, is I got to get up and go help. And then even when you feel at your worst, even when you're the most miserable, you're going to put a smile on your face, and you're going to go out and help that person that needs help every time. It's just what we do. And it's a trick. It's tricky. And I don't know if there's an easy way to solve it, but it is. The more and more we keep talking about this, and ladies, obviously, thanks for the platform and being able to help push us in there. But the more and more we talk about this to, people around us, guys from Mandown, from the football team, people that we, work with, or people that we know, it seems like everybody's having the same conversation. And it's actually scary. It's scary that there's so many of us having this problem.
So can I ask you both kind of a question, just because I know it sounds like we're both I'm based on last episode and this episode, it's like that theme of, I don't know what to do in order to feel like I am kind of refilling myself up. So I wanted to ask, if either one of you, even if it's small changes or just small things that you have found over up until this point in your life that does help refill you, even if it is just a little bit.
You or me first, Bo?
Go ahead, Gunner.
So I think it's been super enlightening, to actually take the time to sit back and focus on the things that are struggles, and talking to, my brothers, and talking to my fellow men, and going through and understanding that they're dealing with a lot of the same things. It's kind of a two-way street. So definitely identifying that the cup needs to be filled, learning that more and more and more, right? It's actually a problem that the cup's so empty, and I get it, and I understand it now. But what's interesting with that is it's unlocking these other things that are stacks to the problem of not being able to fill up the cup. The recognizing of, I need to sit in the room and stare at the wall. I know that. I see that now. And I understand that better than I ever have. But by understanding that, I haven't figured out how to, I'm a bad guy for not helping someone, or I'm a bad guy for not getting up and doing something I'm supposed to do, or, I am dead to the world. I feel miserable. I want to go cry and sit under some blankets somewhere and just exist, because I don't have any energy for anything else. Oh, X person needs this, or a family member needs this, or my work needs this, or somebody needs this. Okay, get up out of bed, put a smile on my face, and go do the thing. And that's actually getting scary. Not in a bad way. It's just it's more things to discover, but this mental health as a man thing it seems to be unraveling more layers of an onion than I ever actually thought were there. And while there are good fixes, at least from my perspective, I'm learning how to do things and enjoy things a little bit differently. Like spending the time with my brothers yesterday and doing our little Kings weekend thing and just getting away and being with each other. We talk more about this as a group. We're propping each other up more every day, and I'm personally learning to absorb that as a real success. And something like that is actually helping me fill my cup, because I feel like I'm not stuck. I'm not alone, even just for that little bit. So there's pros and cons. I think we're just scratching the surface of the onion. It's starting to feel like it's a very, very deep and big onion, but confident we're going to get there. We're going to find a way to get all the way to the bottom of it. But that's my answer. Long-winded, but that's my answer.
Honestly, for me, just playing with my kids and playing softball and football. That's really it makes me happy to get out there and run around and stuff like that. And Tommy, you know as well as anybody else, I carry around a roll of duct tape with me because if something's hurting, I'm gonna duct tape it just so I can keep on playing. And people think I'm joking. I just right to the skin, just wrap it up.
Let's be fair. It doesn't matter if there's a perfectly good bandage or proper wrapping there. You're going right to the duct tape every time.
It's never let me down. But it's running around in the outfield, making diving catches. That makes me like I feel rejuvenated doing that. Or playing football, just catching the pass from Tommy, running down the field, or running in there, just getting a sack or something. It's a great feeling, and everybody's all hyped up, and I don't even have to say anything. It's just I just smile. It's just great. It's a good feeling. And then I come home. My son, he's always the little gremlin. He's like, "Oh, did you win?" It's like, "Yeah." "You scored a touchdown?" "Yeah." He's a good cheerleader. He's funny. And then I talked to the older one.
Activity, like not just a here connection, like with other people who you feel like get it, but you don't have to talk about it all the time, but you have the safe space to talk about it if you want to. But then like I'm always that therapist who brings up just the natural feel good things that happen for us when we are physically active. So it sounds like it's like a combination effect from those activities that you guys do together.
I think there's another layer there too with the sports. At least I know for me, like it's inner child stuff. Like it's just.
I was just gonna say, because when you're out there playing, you're not thinking about all the I shoulda, coulda, would.
In that game that you're playing.
There's not an ounce of adult of me on that field. I'm a 5-year-old kid running around pretending I'm Peyton Manning. Like that's just how it works for me. Like you don't even think about being an adult or all the things you have to do. You're just in the game and you're running around, so you're getting that physical activity, and you're being completely mindful of your situation just naturally. Like, yeah, a lot of it.
For those sports to function in that way, you have to like it's like the definition of mindfulness, right? You have to be present in order, for all of those things to be, to be working with a team or to be getting a read off of somebody. I don't play football, but like, I've done other sports, and you are very mindful, and that's where you're at in that moment in time, nowhere else.
Mm-hmm. That's the good part about it. But then as soon as the game's over, after that 1 hour of freedom, it's like I gotta go do this, gotta go do that, I gotta go here, do this, do that. Then it'll be 7 or 8 o'clock. I still gotta do this, and get home, shower. I fall asleep eating sometimes. It's just I don't even wake up to an alarm. I wake up before the alarm, and it's just time to go to work, start the day back over again. Just over and over and over. It's like Groundhog's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Same song plays on the radio. I watch the news in the morning. I feel like I know everybody on Fox 8. Scott Sable, he's one of my best friends. He tells me what the weather's going to be. I'm always like, I'm going to look like Wayne when I get older. I'm going to wear little suits and some glasses and stuff. And
Linbell, can I ask okay, so obviously being a man in society talking about mental health is super stigmatized, and we're moving places, but that's still what it is. Can you tell me what it's like to be a Black man trying to manage your mental health?
I don't even talk to anybody about anything. Like I literally don't. I mean, I have conversations with Tommy and Rico and some of my close friends, but there's a lot that needs to be said that'll probably never be said. Just pain and stuff like that, and just emotional stuff that the way I was raised, we just you don't talk about none of that stuff. So just kind of drink it, take it down with a sip of beer, and move on. That's how it's always been. So but I'm not raising my sons that way though. I'm definitely gonna change that. We talk about everything. Me and my oldest son, his name is Linbell. He's the fourth, but I call him Squirt because he's a giant. And we talk about everything. And I always want him to call me if he's in trouble and not worry about that I'm gonna yell at him, but just because I want him to call me when he needs my help and stuff like that. And I always ask him how he's doing, or why he does some of the things that he does, and I try to talk to him about that kind of stuff because I didn't really talk to anybody when I was growing up. It was just, you know, you you just deal with it and keep going, and just don't let anyone see you cry, basically. And yeah, you just kind of swallow it. And I mean, being black is it's it's interesting. It's funny to say that, but everywhere I go, uh, I'm either getting looked at by one race or another. Either I'm getting sized up by other black people, or someone's looking at me like, "Well, why, like, why you dress like that, or why do you walk like that? Why do you talk like that?" I guess I'm supposed to have like a little different vocabulary, but I was raised to speak like this, treat people with respect and stuff like that, and that's a whole different other topic there. But it's it's always been like that though. I got made fun of when I was younger, just like everybody else. It was just life, and you dealt with it. And I was really unpopular and stuff like that until I started playing football in high school. Really, uh, no one really talked, or I mean, we had friends and stuff like that. But once I picked the football up and was actually good at it, then everything changed. I started getting treated a little differently, and it carried over just into the work field that I'm in. Just being a high rise window cleaner, people see me, and even when I'm on my ropes and I'm rappelling down, they look up and they'll say, whether it's someone white, black, or Hispanic, they're like, "Oh, hell no!" Or like, I didn't even think black guys did that. It's like, it's a job. I mean, I didn't know that. I don't know. It's strange, but it's like a daily thing though, and there's different kind of alleyways to go off of this. It's everything's just it's just different. It's really different. And I have a lot of white friends and white family members, and when we go places together, you definitely you can see the difference, and they see it. And I've had some of them even apologize to me, like, "Man, I'm sorry. That was rough." I'm like, "Why are you sorry? You didn't do anything." It's like, that was that person over there. And, well, I didn't know that people really actually did that. I know people say that racist stuff happens and stuff like that, but I just never experienced it. And it's like, well, yeah, it's a daily. It happens. Yeah. But even with that, you gotta. Well, you gonna fight everybody? You can't do that. So you just take some words and go on about your day. That's all you can do.
Feels like an extra layer of, I mean, what that anxiety, like, and I'm not speaking, for you at all, but it hits me like hypervigilance, like all the time, on top of that anxiety of, I don't know how to word what's in my brain. It's like an extra layer of what I have to be, or like, and I'm always having to be aware of those things on top of, all of these other things that you feel like are on your plate day to day too.
Oh yeah, I feel no matter where I go, I'm constantly looking around. Like you're always being watched, no matter where you go. Like I said, if I go to East Cleveland, I don't look like I belong there because just of the way I dress and the way I walk, the way I talk, the way I carry myself. People size me up over there. But when I go to like Westlake, then I still get the same looks, but just from different people. They're like, "Well, what are you doing here?" And it's just weird. It's like I'm just coming here. Either I'm coming here to do my job, or I'm coming here to get something to eat. Just like everybody else. It's like I don't know. It's weird to word it like this, but I just feel like I'm from a foreign country. You know what I mean? And I was born in Euclid, right here in Ohio. It's strange. It's always been a weird feeling like that though. It's like always having your head on the swivel. Basically, you're constantly on alert. It's exhausting. Like I talk about retiring and moving. It's like going to Alaska or something like that. I just want to be just way away, just out hunt the animals and just live with my family out there. And yeah, I've been saying it for years, and it's like every year I think about it more and more, just moving just away, just to get away from people, and then just alleviate that one little portion of stress out of my life.
Yeah,
I
it's
wonder if
a.
that's.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. Okay. No, I was gonna say, I wonder if that's first, um, about I gotta ask, and we've talked about this before, but what places in the world do you have places where you don't have to worry about that hypervigilance, that extra mode that needs to be in your mind because of the color of your skin, or where you come from? Like, other places, other groups, other areas, or types or moments in your life where you don't feel that, and what's that like? What's it like if you are able to let that guard down? You know?
Really, the only time is when I'm with family and friends. That's when I can honestly just slump down a little bit and relax. That's really the only time. Any other time, it's like robot mode. Just stand up straight, looking around, just constantly just paying attention. Um, it's and it's nothing new. It's always been like that, and I think that's the problem of it all, is just years and years of just being on edge, just because of society and just the way things are. It's just you just get tired of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fuck
it's
this
like.
nonsense. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'll
it's
say it.
like, it's like, not that I'm gonna agree that this is okay, but it's like one thing if you like committed a crime and people are aware of whatever the crime it is, and it was a violent crime of some kind, and now people use that lens to look at you and they're a little more alert or judgmental or whatever it is. But we were just born, and I hear you, like, it's like I feel like I'm a puzzle piece that doesn't fit in any puzzle that I've tried to fit in, like where, and like such identity and like self identity, like how, who am I, like where do I even belong if no matter where I go someone doesn't like me or someone doesn't approve of me, and I'm just here, I'm a good guy and I just like follow the rules and I just want to hang out. And
In in high school, it was kind of like that. Um, I got along, well, tried to get along with all the different cliques that were out there. Um, I'd be hacky sacking 1 minute and then rollerblading the next minute. I tried biking, that didn't work for me. Neither did skateboarding. Honestly, neither did rollerblading. So it was just trying to just say what's up to different people and just learn about different people, and doing all that, and even doing it during college. You know, you, you just you learn so many different things. You become eclectic with all your music. You just listen to everything, and you're trying different foods. You're wearing different clothes and stuff like that. You're going shopping in different stores just because your friends are and stuff. So stuff like that. It was really. I mean, I encourage that so much, just to reach out and get to know someone or get to know a group of people that you normally wouldn't talk to. Just have a conversation with somebody. it's I mean, if you're just sitting there anyway, watching a baseball game, drinking a beer at the bar, or just sitting there waiting for your wife or your girlfriend or something at the doctor's office, have a conversation with the person next to you. I mean, you might learn something, and you might end up shaking hands and exchanging phone numbers, and you might make a friend or something like that, or you might make someone's day just listening to them, just vent about some stuff. And Tommy will vouch for this, as no matter where I go, there's always someone that wants to talk to me, and I don't know why. I just don't get. I don't know what about my face says, please come over here and talk to me.
What do you mean you don't know why? You're great.
they
You're
they
a
open up
golden
to me
soul,
like
bro. You're a golden
they
soul.
open up to me like
that's
a
just what it
Montel
is.
story.
You
Just
have a
sit
very
down and just
welcoming,
It's the
safe
chicklets.
vibe.
It's the chicklets.
Had that and that mentality of like, but seeing one another for who we are and honoring that, because it's not like we don't see colors. It's not that. It's like, but seeing one another for who they are and acknowledging those things about one another, and so it's like you're out here having that perspective, and you're putting yourself out there and trying to learn all these things about other people, and not, I can only imagine, definitely not always getting that in return.
correct.
You're like, I'm doing my part, and that's all I can do. And like you said, it's always been like this, and that is absolutely the problem.
Yeah, it's rough, and it's strange. Like I said, my son, he lives down by Columbus, Ohio, and uh, it's a nice area. It's a pretty wealthy area, and when I go down there, it's different. Like, people are really welcoming, they're really nice, and everything like that. And it's strange to come back to my own city and even see some of my neighbors and wave to them, and they just kind of like just grunt, or put their head down or something. It's like, all right, have a good day anyway. But it's, I don't know. I wasn't always a positive person like this. I used to be a really mean person, and my mom wanted me to be nicer, so I tried changing, and it's still a work in progress. I still growl every now and then, but it's helped out a lot in life. Just being a kinder person, because being mean wasn't really getting me anywhere. It was just making enemies. So yeah, it's just always better. Just take 5 minutes out of your life, have a little conversation with the security guard or someone, or the dude that you're paying the toll to or something. Maybe he's got something to say. Maybe he's got something he wants to talk about, or something on his mind. You never know. So just I don't know. I just try every day, just a little bit, just try to do a little something nice. I know that's my good deeds for the day. But I try to at least do one thing nice every day.
It's beautiful that you have that perspective and you still want to do that despite your internal struggle and suffering. Like the Linbell that I know that I've met is a beautiful person that is so welcoming and loving and kind, and I know you would do anything for anyone. And I appreciate you coming on here and sharing those struggles and that suffering, because you are the epitome of, we are not alone in this. We are all suffering, and it doesn't matter what it looks like on the outside. It doesn't matter how well I'm able to hold it together. It doesn't matter that I still go to work every day and take care of my family. I I feel awful inside, or I don't even know how I go on every day, and yet you're still like, have a conversation with someone and get to know them, and it's just it gives me hope, and I hope it gives our listeners hope that like it's really okay to reach out and be a little vulnerable and go that extra mile to talk with someone, because you never know, you might talk with the cashier at Giant Eagle and find out that they've lost a parent too, or, you know, whatever that level of connection be. We're all having this human experience, right, together.
Just say that, Amanda. I was like, oh, we learned that other people that are different from us in whatever way are humans too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy that it's 2021 and it's still like I still get mean mugged just for being black. I'm just going to the store, or someone they drive by, they just mug you, or even in the store they're just staring at you, or follow you around. It's like I'm not here to steal anything or cause trouble. I just want to get a bag of chips or something. It's just crazy. Um, it's like I said, every day is there's something different every day. And the only time that nothing really happens is when I don't leave. Like if I'm just staying inside, then that'd be the one day that, I know that I won't have to, make that face back at someone else, or ball a fist up, or, even talk some junk back and forth with somebody. It's just so unnecessary. Um, and that's another thing. A lot of the people that I've met, a lot of the older ones, it's just, well, I've heard from a friend that, black people this or black people that, or I had one bad experience with a black person. That's why I just didn't like them. But you're one of the good ones. It's like, all right. It's like, it's just strange. Like, it's just strange, and I
You know how
just keep
many
on
other white
going.
people I've met and they're just like terrible human beings and I don't like them? I'm not like, oh, hey, you guys are, it's just it's such a strange thing to say. Oh,
I,
Linbell,
I
I appreciate so
oh,
much your vulnerability. We could obviously talk about this forever. I just want to be
right.
respectful of everyone's time. We always ask our listeners before we wrap up, like, is there anything you want to leave them with? Any mantras you live by, or just anything else on these topics to kind of wrap up?
Oh, I just live by always forward. Um, you got to be going somewhere, and why not go forward?
Tommy, did you have any last minute?
No, I just want to thank you, Bo. You're a golden soul, man, and I really mean that. And maybe we'll get you back here and we can keep this conversation going because I'm anticipating some pretty strong feedback, man. Appreciate you and thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you so much.
So, our next Mandown Men's Mental Health will be May 30th, and we are going to be having another Mandown football. I was going to say friend because words are hard for me today. Another one of your brothers, Jason Bass, is going to be on that episode. So, if you're looking for that next episode, make sure you tune in then. Next week, we are going to be talking to Dara Hoffman Fox, who is pretty well known on talking about increasing awareness and inclusivity for transgender and non-binary individuals. So that will be on May 2nd. Make sure you tune in for that. And as always, on today's episode, like, comment, subscribe so you don't miss out on the future episodes. If you have any feedback for us, Linbell, obviously we will get that back to him, and we will see you next time. Bye.